Hello there, my name is Richard. The first time I see my channel, you review cartoon series, anime series, or something completely random. And today we talk about the first impression of Equinox. Yeah, I'm 100% sure I said the name wrong, but besides this Crunchyroll original first episode is one of those I need to talk about because it's really that good. Of course, he has his flaws, but one of those that is so minor that is kind of more like a nitpick, but besides that, it's one of those I 100% just watch the first episode recommend. I know I'm sort of jumping my sentences here. It's one of those kind of oppressive first episodes that you kind of grab your interest. Now, if the thing you're wondering is any good or what it's about, it's basically this main character called itself who kind of stuck in the middle of sort of situation of two different gods. One of the group of gods who are the heaven gods, for right now let's call them the heaven gods, they basically are very threatening about the underworld gods who want the human sacrifice. But the reason why they want human sacrifice because they really are starving to death. So the way they have a sort of battle. But the heaven gods kind of outsmart them. They have a plan to lock them down forever. The only problem is they can touch the gates, so they need a human. How about a hero? Sort of like a Hercules, or not really Hercules type of character to lock the door. But interesting enough, I love the main point of this kind of introduction of the gods is that they explain they do not care about the human race. They're just calling pets, little things to play around with. Of course, they don't need them to be worshipped, to be strong. The only thing they need them is their sacrifice. But the only problem is human beings are not enough for them to be fed on, so you have this sort of divide with the gods. In that itself is sort of interesting because they sort of argue among themselves, especially the ones who has the whole power, the four gods who have all the sacrifice to themselves. They have this sort of argument. Or we gotta look the other ones, how we gotta do it. Who we trust. And at the same time, do we actually care defending the other humans? Should it be easier to, I don't know, remake a human again like last time? But once more, doing this, risking them to being starved again. And that is sort of interesting because now, the most fascinating thing about this is the people who worship the Aztecas, they know how the gods roll. They understand they're the pawns of this game because if they don't worship one, the other one would probably kill them. So they need to sacrifice someone, but at the same time, who and why if they actually want to, because whoever is the priest or the chosen one who they sacrifice, that the sacrifice big. And that's what you have sort of interesting discussions of some other characters who are basically the chief of the whole clan, talk about who would do it, who will not. But I love it. They have layers, every single character. Each character have to really think about it. Each character means something and you understand the motivation. Even though it's been just the first episode, you understand. Especially our main character called itself. Yeah, I'm 100% sure I kind of messed up that name too. I'm sorry. But itself, the main character, is a sort of a child. I think he's between 13, I guess. He sort of have no choice is to serve the gods because he's sort of stuck in a situation with her sister. They're the only ones who are left of their family. But they find out later on is Hitzel was chosen, but her sister stepped in and took his place. Now Hitzel trying to figure out to save his sister, to not be sacrificed. But the sad part is it's sort of kind of too late because Hitzel sort of kind of hesitate himself to not be killed because he did the sacrifice or ask for the gods. They make a deal. They make changes. Do not sacrifice my sister. Let me help you help me. But I love it. He sort of stuttered. He panicked because it really shows you want to deal with the gods. You need to sacrifice big, especially your own blood or your own life. That's why you see the chiefs sort of arguing who would be sacrificed, who is not, who is worthy, who willing to sacrifice for the gods. But in the end, you have to think about who you are and your own family in the situation you're in. And that's why it's so interesting because they chose itself for one simple reason. It's because he served the lowest of the low. Because once more, I said at the very beginning, the guys were sure arguing how to lock the gate, and they realize, oh, you can't lock it because it's God-proof. So you need someone to sort of a little bit late to unlock the door. And on top of that, they made a sort of a game on it. I mean, yeah, sure, you're gods. You're gonna get starved if you lock the door, but you want to make it a little bit more interesting and just bet your own lives for this human so you can win bragging rights. Once more, this show is twisted, disturbing, but you understand everybody motivation, especially it's said. I'm sorry, I keep saying the name wrong. He's the main character. He's the one who has no choice to kind of serve the gods. Once more, it doesn't explain how it's gonna serve because this is still the first episode, but once more, that's the thing that grabs you so much. You just see a little bit, you understand every little crumb what's going on, you understand each person's motivation, and that is so incredible. That's the thing, it just grabs you. Usually anime take this to the 3 episode unspoken rule. They have to wait 3 episodes to make the decision to stick with it or no, live it in the past. But this first anime, God, it just grabs you. Of course, be fair, this is not for everyone. For one great reason is because it has sex, violence, and death. I mean, they're very upfront of it. But once more, it's not sort of there just be there. It's actually established this is how it's gotta go down. This is serious. Everything we say, cuss, blood, gore, is sort of real, but at the same time understand the situation very well. People who use gore wrong, it's sort of disappointing and kind of less interesting to watch the series, but use gore and violence in the right way and also nudity for purposes that it makes sense, purposes to push the story. This is the story. This is the one who responsibly used those sort of tactics correctly. And this always sort of blew me away, just how good it really is. Now, the bad part of this is, I once said at the very beginning, it's sort of a nitpick. It's the fact the pacing issues or some of the editing is not the best because it feels this should be a 2-part episode, so sort of feels more what's the word, cinematic. It feels more impactful. But be fair, the first episode is done well, but you could see they were kind of rushing in at some moments. That you could see how they should edit a different way or give more impact, give more time to sort of scenarios. Like there's a point that Isel saw his sister be sacrificed and you see his reaction. That sort of, holy crap, I was too late. That sort of pause. They try to pause it as long as they can, but it wasn't long enough to give that impact I'm looking for. That's something like, oh, this went too real. I was too late. But once more, it's like a little here and there. It's because they were sure to impact so much things in once, but at the end, it worked. Even though I wanted to be a little bit more, I really wanted to be 2-parter, but it really worked to grab my attention and sit down and watch the rest of the series. So yeah, they did a job pretty decent. Especially, I probably watched the whole series because how good the first episode really was. Besides that, let me ask a question. Do you see the first episode? If you want to see the first episode, go watch it on Verb. It's for free, the first episode. If you've seen it, did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Comment down below. I got nothing else to say. Just thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.